UNCP women's basketball head coach John Haskins previewing Sunday's game at Augusta State. Coach, just talk about a little about last night against Georgia College, a 20-point loss, but I'm sure you came out with lessons learned.
Well, I thought we hung in there pretty good for about 5 or 6 minutes into the second half, and then it got to where they were scoring and we couldn't score. We didn't make shots, we didn't make free throws. And they hurt us on the offensive glass. So I think as we come into today, we're obviously working on transition defense a little bit because we got hurt a little bit there, rebounding obviously, and then just running our offense and making shots.
You know, talk about your team a little bit. This is the time of year where roles are figured out on your team. Do you sort of see that happening with your team now that they're maturing a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think at the beginning of the season, obviously in the preseason and with the non-conference games, you're kind of trying to figure out who's going to provide you what in terms of scoring, rebounding, ball handling, defense on a consistent basis. So I think we've kind of got those roles established. Kids are getting a little bit, particularly as many freshmen as we're playing, they're getting a little bit better feel for what we expect out of them. And then obviously upperclassmen know what we want out of them.
Let's talk about this Augusta State team. 5 seniors, one glaring senior is Jemima Ashby, who missed last year's game. 14.3 points per game. She looks like she's come off the bench in 6 games this year. You gotta enjoy that luxury as a coach to have a player coming off the bench like that.
Well, I got to question Nate Wise bringing off the bench, but no, Nate does a great job with his team. She's a really good player. Really is one of those kids, and there's not a lot in women's basketball that can create their own shot. She can really put it down and create her own shot, either go into the hole, pull up, jump shooting, shoots the 3. She's just a hard matchup for us because she's long and pretty athletic. So, we've obviously got to contain her. I think they're very good on the perimeter. The post game's not probably real strong and not their strong point. I think they're much better on the perimeter, but they've got a couple strong girls inside that'll offensive rebound and can score on the block a little bit. But I think they're a very, very perimeter-oriented team. Going to zone us a lot probably. They've zoned a lot this year, so that's the other thing we're working on practice is they attacking the zone, trying to not just settle for 3-point shots and get inside the zone.
Now, with them being a perimeter-oriented team, do you see your bigs being more of a factor in this game than they were last night?
Well, you hope so, but they're going to zone a lot. So,
right.
If that's the one thing we'd like to try to do is get it inside their zone. But, I think a lot of times kids see zone and think, okay, we're going to just pass the ball around and shoot a lot of threes, and we'd like to get it inside. But that's going to be an emphasis to try to get it inside and attack them inside a little bit.
Head coach Ben Miller of the UNCP men's basketball team. We're previewing the Braves' upcoming game against Augusta State on Sunday. Coach, just talk about this last couple of games for you. You've been pretty up and down, but you've come out and successful in a couple of them.
Yeah, we got that last one before break against Coker, a very good team, and then came back and beat Georgia College, which is a great win in the Peach Belt. Great program there. Coach Sellers does a great job. So we feel good about the last 2, and we know we got a very, very big challenge coming up.
Let's talk about your team right now. You seem to have a lot of players coming into their roles. I mean, Alex Bradley at career-high 8 assists last night against Georgia College. I mean, and you got your scorers with your guards. I mean, talk about your team and how they've matured this year so far.
Yeah, well, as the season goes on, roles gets defined. Guys kind of fitting in, trying to figure out how they can contribute, and that's something we try to work with the guys on as the year goes along. But we do have good depth. I think we're getting contributions from a lot of different guys, whether starters or off the bench, like Alex. Kasheen's come in and done some good things. Reggie came in and gave us a lift against Georgia College as well, so that was good to see.
Now, let's talk about this rivalry. We hit on a little bit post-game last night, but for 10 years the rivalry swung one way. I mean, Augusta State was able to get the better of UNCP for 10 straight years and sort of turned into a more heated rivalry over the past few years.
Well, they're such a great program with tradition, and Coach Metris has done a great job. So, we've always had great respect for their program, and fortunately we've had been a little more competitive in those games the last few years, so hopefully that continues.
A lot of success for GRU Augusta this year. It starts with a lot of juniors and seniors on their team. Just hit on a few: Ryan Weems, Harold Doby. Sort of been a thorn in the side at UNCP the past couple of years. Those are 2 guys that you have to look out for this weekend.
Yeah, they're really good players. They got a lot of really good players. A couple of new ones too. The Sherrill brothers, both really good, and just they got depth and talent really at every spot. So a very well-balanced team, very well coached. It'll be a great Peach Belt game.